I'm Etienne from Etienne's Foods, and today we're making Cochinita Pibil for a Mexican fiesta in the wood burning oven by Steelle. Okay, Cochinita Pibil. What on earth is that? Well, it's a slow cooked pork recipe from the Yucatan in Mexico. It's unbelievably delicious. It has some special flavors in it, and it makes the most fantastic tacos. You've got to try it. So before we go on, we're using some specialty ingredients in this recipe. They are all available from Azteca. I'll mention them in the comments. Follow them. Have a look at their website. They're in Marinade. All the specialty Mexican ingredients you can think of are available through them, as well as tortillas, tacos, nachos, all the spices, all the chilies, and they ship as well. So if you can't get to Midrand, shop online and they'll courier it to you. Okay, let's just go through what I'm using in this recipe. Okay, so this is what's going to go into our marinade. First thing, and this is essential, achiote paste. Now, all of the Mexican ingredients in this recipe you can get from Azteca. I'll mention them in the comments. Follow them. Go to their website. You can either go to their shop in Midrand and get stuff there. Anything Mexican you can think of, they sell food-wise, and they also ship. So you can just do it online, order, and they will courier it to you. And these ingredients are a lot cheaper than you may expect. So achiote paste. This is a key. You must have this in Cochinita Pibil. Definitely get some of this. Then the other key ingredient are oranges. Orange juice, but not any orange juice. They in Mexico they use a Seville orange, which is a bit bitter and quite sour. I couldn't get any here, but I do live up the road from the only place in the world Rex Union oranges are grown. Famous for marmalade. They're actually a hybrid between Seville oranges and pomelos. So I got some of this. If you can't get any of these, just mix half orange juice, half lime juice, or even lemon juice. The only thing I want to say is squeeze the juice freshly. Do not use bottled juice. It's not going to be the same. Definitely worth it just squeezing your juice yourself. So we've got about a cup and a half because of the amount of pork I'm doing. I've got a cup and a half of that orange juice. I've got some Mexican peppers. This is not essential. The achiote and the orange juice, if you only do one thing, will still make Cochinita Pibil. But I like to jazz it up a bit, so I've got an ancho chili that we've also toasted in a pan along with some chipotle chilies. I've got a couple of spices that I've also toasted. It's about a teaspoon of cumin, about 15 allspice berries, 4 cloves, and probably about a half a teaspoon of peppercorns. We're going to grind these up in a spice grinder. And then I've got a little bit of this spice here. I've just put it in a different bottle. It's called epazote, which is a Mexican tea, but it's also a herb that's often used in their cooking. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to chuck this all in a blender, blend it up, and that will be our marinade. I'm only using about half of the achiote for this recipe, so about 50 grams, and that should be more than enough. I'll come back and show you how we coat our meat. Okay, so traditionally this is made with a whole pig, but we don't have a whole pig, but we do have some incredible deboned legs from the guys at the Flying Pig that they've sent me. So they come scored already and rolled. So we're just going to take the strings off, and you can leave them whole, but because we don't want to take that long to cook today, we're going to cut them into sort of 75mm pieces. So these legs are basically going to go into 3. It's going to help them cook a little bit faster. You don't want to cut it smaller than that because else it's going to cook dry. Leaving the skin on, going to keep it juicy. Quickly do it with these two. this is really of the best quality pork available. The flavor is so nice. Doesn't have that board taint that you sometimes get. It's really, really delicious stuff. So I've got a nice massive roasting dish here, and we're going to get marinating in this. So let's make our marinade. Now I'm just going to emphasize again, there are 2 ingredients that you have to make this recipe. All the spices and things are optional, but you have to have achiote paste. It's not expensive. Get it from Azteca. It's key. It's made from the annatto seed. There's a paste made of it. It's like sort of earthy and citrusy. It gives it that nice red color. Can't do it without this. And the other thing is the orange juice. So as I mentioned, we're using the Rex Union oranges, which is very lucky. It grows up the road, literally. The Mexicans will use Seville oranges. They're bitter, very sour. But if you can't get that, half orange juice, half lemon juice or lime juice, get the same thing. All I want to say is don't use the bottle stuff. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to get the results you want. So what we'll do, for this amount of pork, I've got 1.5 cups of the orange juice. We're going to take about 50 grams of the achiote paste. I'm just going to pop that in there. It's got such a wonderful smell. It's really unique. It won't be the same without it. And really, you can make this whole recipe with just these 2 ingredients. But we want to amp it up a little bit, so we're going to go in with some garlic. And then I've got my spice mix, the chipotle chilies, the ancho chilies, epazote, which is a Mexican tea, actually, a very unique herb. Again, if you can't get that, you don't have to worry, but you can get it from Azteca. And then some cumin, some allspice, some cloves, some peppercorns. You saw I ground all those up. And there it goes. And now we whiz it up. There we are. Smells amazing. Really impossible to describe. And now we'll take the pork pieces. Simply going to pour the marinade over them. Getting it all going there. If you've got gloves, use them. I don't mind the fact this is going to stain my hands a little bit. Give it a nice massage in there. It's going to kind of braise in this liquid a little bit. There it is. Believe it or not, that's ready. Traditionally they'll wrap this in banana leaves. We don't have that. And I couldn't get in time for this recipe. But we're going to cover it with tin foil. But just because I want some smoky flavor, I'm going to cook it for about an hour uncovered. We've got some pecan chunks from the guys at Firefly Biofuel that they've sent us. So we're going to put some of that in the oven on top of the coals that I've made with the Name Camille during Braaihut, and give it some nice smoky flavor. Then we're going to wrap it up with some tin foil, let it braise, probably about 3 hours. It should be fork tender. We want it to pull apart. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll get back to you later on. Okay, so we're just going to throw one of these lovely little pecan chips on the coals. Oven is up to temperature. That'll give us some smoke. It's going to be lick. So this is how it looks after an hour. I'm going to wrap it now. I'm going to throw in a little bit of water, just a little bit to keep it juicy. And then Alright, so that's out of the oven. That's what it looks like. I've just uncovered it. You can see all these juices at the bottom here. That's going to be fantastic. We're going to just cook that down a bit to make a salsa. Let's see if we've done our job. And that is with no pressure, just pulling apart like that. Let's see. See, that just falls apart. So the leg has different muscles in it. So you've got some juicy muscles, you've got some leaner muscles. But there you have it. There you have it. We're going to pull this apart, get it all shredded. So there's a slightly leaner muscle. There it is. That's pulling apart. Put it all, we'll mix it in the sauce, and that is going to go on our tacos. Looks delicious, smells delicious, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, so we've done it. We've pulled the pork, we mixed it in with those lovely pan juices, and it looks fantastic. This is it. There's a whole bowl. It's too much for today. That's fine, because we'll put some in the fridge, and later on when the rugby's on, sorted. So we also made some, we made our own, but you can buy them if you want to. Made our own corn tortillas. We got some blue corn tortillas, also from Azteca. This is amazing. Smells like nothing you've ever smelled before. And what you do, it's very simple. Take a little bit of this pork, put it in the middle, don't waste. They do a little pickled onion. We didn't have red onion, so we used normal onion. Made a little pickled onion. Get that in there. That's great. We'll just lift it a bit because there's so many earthy flavors in this. And then the Yucatanians, guaranteed, will have some habanero on it. And I got this lovely habanero and pineapple salsa from my buddy Rion of Whitney's Relish. That's going to go on it. A little bit of habanero. As you can see, I'm being careful because it packs a punch. And there it is, your Cochinita Pibil taco. Let's see, how's it? It's hard to describe these flavors. Earthy, citrusy. You got that smoke that we got because we cooked it in the Steelle pizza oven with the pecan chunk from a Firefly biofuel. The habanero is really coming through. Freshness of this tortilla. This is amazing. You have to try this recipe. En boys, ek wil net een ding sê vir julle. Moenie bang wees vir snaakse kos nie. Dis lekker. Dis pret. Wys vir jou chommies, jy sal hulle impress ook. Wys vir die girls ook, jy kan iets anders doen as braai. Dalk laat jy jou toe om 'n pizza oond te koop. Moenie bang wees nie. Geniet dit, nee.